Hey everyone, I just want you to all know that there will be some feedback issues in the episode. I did my best to clean it up, but you're inevitably going to be hearing some around the last half of the episode where it gets pretty bad. I couldn't really do much with it without ruining the audio, so just be patient with us and enjoy the episode.
Response quicker after without trying to think it through as much, I guess. Exactly. It's tough because you got to strike a balance, you know?
Exactly. And it is the Super Clash Podcast, a podcast about shorter games, episode 68.
Hell yeah.
One episode away from the sex number.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I'm your host, Kale.
I'm Connor.
And Connor, how was your week?
Not the best, but you know.
Dude, I've oh my god, this week just not in terms of work, but just a whole bunch of stuff outside of work. Like anyone who follows us on Twitter would have heard about the whole podcast snafu of us trying to switch hosts and then us losing half of our episodes except the ones that are on the new host, which then required me to try to unpublish all the episodes and then republish them, which totally fucked with the dates and everything, fucked with the format of the descriptions and everything. So that was a fucking headache to deal with. But it's all worked out. I've contacted our platform and they've been super helpful to try to get this resolved. So we're back on all platforms now.
I think most of it's fixed, right? I noticed a few duplicate episodes, but other than that, I didn't really notice
those
much.
Should be resolved by now.
Oh, they should be? Okay.
They should, because at least on Apple Podcasts, it says 66 episodes are now 67.
Okay.
So that should be resolved. But on top of all of that, I've had the Missouri government fuck me in the ass, basically, by saying that they never received my 2020 taxes. We're 2 years into this shit. I don't know if it has something to do with COVID or anything, but they sent me a notice saying, "Oh, you owe us $2,600."
Jeez, did you owe anything to begin with?
No, they owe me money.
Like, what the hell?
and so now I'm probably gonna have to pay a fucking late fee because it got lost in the fucking mail. I remember sending it before it was due, but I never got a refund from them, and at the time I didn't think much of it, which now I wish I would have done something about it.
Yeah.
But hindsight's 2020, and so I sent in my shit, and they said it'll take about 4 to 6 weeks to process, and then if I owe any money at all with like late fees, they'll let me know.
That's so dumb. Because honestly, why do we even do taxes? Why do we even do it? Because the government has that information. That's how they know to charge you shit when you haven't done it, you know? Or if you submit the wrong amount, then they know immediately and are like, hey, you gave us the wrong amount. So you had the right amount. You know how much I owe you. Just send me a bill or send me a check for whatever the amount is. The end.
Bureaucracy, man.
It's so stupid.
And on top of that, I got home today and my fucking internet's out.
Are you serious?
Yes. And like I get out of the shower from getting home from work, and Lily's just on her phone eating, and she's like, the internet doesn't work. I'm like, fuck.
Who do you have?
Comcast.
Oh, of course.
But later on, I got a text saying, we noticed you have an outage. It'll be resolved at this time. And I got a text about a couple minutes ago saying it's been resolved. But we'll find out, because I basically unplugged my modem before I left, hoping that would resolve the issue.
Yeah.
But
did they say it was like a widespread thing or just you?
I looked on the map on their website and it said no outages in my area, so it must have been isolated.
Lovely.
But man, I'm so glad it's Friday.
Yeah, dude.
This whole week has been just fucking insanity.
This is the last podcast, by the way, that we will be recording the way we are now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So even now, it's like a little bit peek behind the curtains. Connor and I have been recording the last 67 episodes basically on shitty booms that held our mic on a plastic table. Well, we got
And metal chairs too.
and metal chairs, very uncomfortable metal chairs that we're still sitting in.
Yes.
We have enough money in our piggy bank to get ourselves a little couch. Not a little couch, but a couch.
Yeah, I got a couch. And it's coming tomorrow, so by the next time we record, we'll be on that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be super comfy. We can throw these metal chairs out.
We have new mic stands. We have a little coffee tables.
Mm-hmm. We got a good vibe going here, man.
Oh yeah, we're gonna put some new lights in here, make it real chill.
Oh man, it's gonna be good shit, man.
Oh yeah,
I lost track what I was gonna say for a second.
it's all right. It's gonna be a fun experience. I'm kind of looking forward to a little sneak peek at the future. We might be considering doing a video podcast in the future instead of just the static image on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
But we are gonna play around with some video and audio stuff.
we'll let you guys know when we've made. We'll let you guys know when there's a time frame when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of steps we need to go through. We got to do research on equipment, test them, look at video editing software, how that's going to work, how to make sure that our audio quality is as good as it sounds now. There's a lot of steps,
Oh yeah,
but
it'll be a slow process.
but it's going to be a fun process. I am so excited to do this. Even as we started this podcast, I had a blast learning different equipment, how our editing software works, how our amp works, how mic sensitivity works. It really makes me regret not leaning into the idea I had in my early 20s about being a sound engineer.
Hey, it's never too late, my friend.
Honestly, part of me kind of has that self-doubt of if I actually went to school to be a sound engineer, I might not enjoy it as I do now. There's
fair.
always that thought in the back of my head. It's probably like wrong, but there's always that thought in the back of my head.
I think we all have our passions, and even if we follow our passions and do it as a career, there's going to be ups and downs to it, but I think it's a lot easier if it's something that you inherently enjoy,
Right.
you know?
So, but yeah, I'm just so excited for the future. I'm so excited to see where this podcast leads. We're actually pretty close to 100.
Yeah, I think,
And almost 2 years in and almost 100 episodes in. That is just awesome. And so,
and anybody finding it now has a backlog to go listen
exactly. So, and tonight, oh man, do we have a game to talk about tonight? Maneater.
through. Yeah.
But before we get into it, Connor, let's get physical.
Alrighty. So unlike the previous week where we only had one game, we actually have a good chunk of games this time around. So buckle up. Here it comes. The first game is Amnesia Later X Crowd. It's $50, only on Switch. Amnesia Later it says, beginning with the enchanting storyline in New World, you can unlock 4 different story scenarios ranging from a study of the many sides of Waka and Waka's world to Afterstory, which takes place after the events of Amnesia Memories. Depending on the routes unlocked in Afterstory, you may even hear wedding bells. Amnesia Crowd, which is the other game that's in this bundle, it says, enjoy even more story scenarios, like the thrilling what-if story of suspense, where you must interact with your environment to escape danger in each route. Plus, play a variety of minigames and working or card games in Trump, earning Orion points to unlock events. This game is, I believe, a port of a PS Vita game, and it's a visual novel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and this one releases September 20th.
Nice.
Releasing on the same day is another Amnesia game that's a port. It's called Amnesia Memories, $50, only on Switch. In Amnesia Memories, players will wake up as the mysterious heroine who has no memory of who she is. A friendly spirit named Orion will appear to help you regain your memories as you explore your world and remember those closest to you. So, yeah, you can basically, for $100, you can get 3 of the Vita games all on Switch now.
Sweet.
The next one I know you'll like is Stray. This one is
Oh.
$40,
Yeah.
only on PS5, and you see the world through the eyes of a stray cat. You roam the streets, defend yourself against unforeseen threats, and uncover the secrets of a city filled with dangerous creatures. Lost, alone, and separated from family, a stray cat must untangle an ancient mystery to escape a long-forgotten city. Stray is a third-person cat adventure game set amidst the detailed, neon-lit alleys of a decaying cyber city and the murky environments of its seedy underbelly. Stray is developed by Blue 12 Studios, a small team from the south of France, mostly made up of cats and a handful of humans. Releases September 20th.
I'm actually really excited for this. This is actually on my list of short games to play.
Mine
Or-
just shipped.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yee.
So maybe we can do it sooner rather than later. Who knows? Maybe after October.
Yeah, dude. The next game is another visual novel. It's Pio Fiore, Episodio 1926. It's $50. Return to the city of Berlone, Italy, in this thrilling sequel to Pio Fiore, Faded Memories. The year is 1926. The port city of Berlone, known as the backdoor of Europe, is home to three powerful mafia families vying for control. Liliana Adornato is a church orphan with a hidden past that is inexorably tied to the fate of the city and the unique marking on her chest. But when a new threat looms over both Berlone and Liliana, the leaders of the Falzone, Visconti, and Lao Shu families must come together in a temporary truce to retrieve a stolen relic and restore the balance of power. Experience a continuation of each character's story from Pio Fiore, Faded Memories, in 5 all-new episodes, a thrilling tale of mystery and murder, and an alternative what-if scenario that sheds new light on a familiar face. A limited edition is also available for $80 and includes an art book, enamel pin, stickers, and a cloth poster. This releases September 22nd.
On your birthday.
On my birthday. A lot of games are releasing on my birthday. That means you're going to get me one of them?
Maybe.
Oh, babe.
If you're good.
Oh, well, I'm not going to be. So, the next game is the Diofield Chronicle. It's $60. It's on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and Switch. The Diofield Chronicle is a gritty and immersive story brought to life with the latest technology, introducing real-time tactical battle, a new, deeply strategic real-time battle system. The beginnings of a new strategy RPG crafted by a skilled and experienced development team. The era of myths gives way to an era of great turmoil. The world of men is mired by an age of war which rages for year on end. A band of elite mercenaries calling themselves Blue Fox arise amidst the flames and the chaos, their fates and valiant deeds to be sung in the ages yet to come. But when all is said and done, will the name Blue Fox come to signify hope or darkest tragedy? This releases September 22nd.
All right.
All right, we're down to the last two.
Fuck yeah.
The next one barely squeaked in today. This is Dicey Dungeons.
Oh, yeah.
Approximately $34. It's only on Switch. It's a Super Rare Games exclusive that's limited to 5,000 copies. Luck won't save you this time. You'll need skills to survive the game. Become a giant walking dice and battle to the end of an ever-changing dungeon and fight monsters, find better loot, and level up your heroes as you work together to take down the goddess of fortune, Lady Luck herself. Balance your carefully planned strategies against the unknown of a dice roll. Pre-orders start September 22nd.
Man, Super Rare just knocks it out of the park every single time. Every single game that they have just seems so fascinating and just captures the imagination.
They do a bundle where you can order, like, sight unseen, the next 3 games in a bundle. And I'm honestly at this point just be like, next time they do those bundles, just order the bundles.
Because they've never had a bad game.
I know. I'm
Like-
like, what the hell?
Like they've had Superliminal, they've had what was that Zombie Army game? It was like Zombie Army.
Strange Brigade.
Yeah, Strange Brigade, they've had Chicory,
Mm-hmm.
like I think Chicory? Yeah. It was was it
Now
Chicory?
I'm questioning it.
Man, I don't know.
But anyway,
It was
they
the
have a
last
lot.
one. It was whatever the last one was.
Yeah. So the last game is Severed Steel. It's $35. It's on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and Switch. Severed Steel is a single-player FPS featuring a fluid stunt system, destructible voxel environments, loads of bullet time, and a unique one-armed protagonist. It's you, your trigger finger, and a steel-toed boot against a superstructure full of bad guys. Chain together wall runs, dives, flips, and slides to take every last enemy down. Releases September 23rd.
Nice. Hell yeah. So, as I stated earlier, tonight we'll be talking about Maneater, which is a RPG developed by Tripwire, released in 2020. HowLongToBeat.com says you can beat this in about 8 hours, like the main story. We've come to the conclusion that that is not possible. We will get further into that as we discuss the game in bulk. But you can get this for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch.
Mm-hmm.
You play as a mutated bull shark, where after the fisherman Scaly Pete catches and kills your mother, he discovers you in the womb, marking you and throwing you in a swamp. You avenge the death of your mother by growing, causing chaos in the city of Port Covis, and track down Scaly Pete. So, my initial thoughts right out of the gate here is I liked this game a little less than I thought I would.
Yeah.
When this game came out, and the whole angle of this game was you play as a mutated bull shark, this really had Jaws Unleashed vibes to it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the game Jaws Unleashed?
I remember it, but I never played it.
I bought the game, and the game overall was pretty bad, but the moment playing as the shark and eating people was very satisfying.
Yeah.
And it still is in this game. In this one, the moment-to-moment gameplay can be fun at times. Combining the mutations that you get as the game progresses can be really fun. Like having bone teeth and electric tail.
Yeah.
These combinations that you can do for certain situations is really fun. And causing chaos on the beaches is a lot of fun, of people screaming when you grab them and pull them back into the water. And because you play as a mutated shark, you can evade and dodge bullets.
Mm-hmm.
The jump evade is dopey and hilariously stupid. He does a barrel roll.
Yeah.
The shark is basically Neo dodging these bullets.
You can do tail smacks too.
Exactly. And here's the thing: if you see a mutated shark barrel roll towards you, dodging bullets, just give up.
Yeah.
Just I'm going home here. There is no way I'm defeating this thing. Just accept your fate.
Yeah.
Another thing is I like the tone of the game as well. It plays like a modern day Discovery Channel show during Shark Week. You have the logo of the game on the bottom right, you have hashtags, interviews with Scaly Pete, and you have the narrator that is prevalent throughout the entire game. I thought this was really good because, do you remember the early Shark Week episodes on Discovery Channel? It was all about learning about these sharks, trying to dispel the myths of the sharks, how sharks aren't looking for people to eat.
Yeah.
And it's basically been watered down to, can Michael Phelps outswim a shark?
Yes.
And it's all about shark attacks, which is totally counterintuitive to what Shark Week's intention was.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this tone was perfect.
Yeah, it kind of makes fun of it in a way, you know?
Mm-hmm. And Scaly Pete is your quintessential fisherman out of every shark movie ever. Cold, determined, no nonsense. He's like your Captain Ahab.
You kind of get the vibe, though, that he's not as tough as he seems.
No, because I didn't mention this, but in the beginning, when Scaly Pete cuts you out of the womb, you bite his arm off.
Yes.
And the rest of the game, he has a prosthetic arm.
Yes.
So, and he just doesn't like his son that much either.
Yeah. It's just kind of, I wonder if their goal was to make the son the relatable character,
maybe,
as opposed to this outlandish shark hunter, you know?
Mm-hmm. But so all that's great. Like being able to move, playing as the shark is fun at times. However, this game is dragged down by mechanical choices where it ends up feeling like a chore to play.
Yeah.
It's just how different AIs and mechanics environments intersect feel really frustrating. This is an open world game. And basically your gameplay loop is you eat fish and to get different upgrade materials. So like your non-aggressive fish, you get yellow nutrients, armored creatures and turtles, you get blue nutrients, aggressive ones you get red, and the rare one is green, which is from albino creatures.
Yes.
And these are used to level up abilities and get stronger.
Yeah, like your organs, your fins, your teeth,
Mhm.
etc.
But the leveling up for one is slow. It is very slow. And some of the story missions pits you up against like level 20 creatures when you're a level 10,
Yeah, it's not fair.
which then requires you to do side missions and activities to level up, which extends the game. It is artificial padding.
It's like grinding, honestly.
That is a great way to put it. It is a grind.
And I think you mentioned the level 20s.
Mhm.
It's not always just the level 20s too, because oftentimes when I was fighting some of these, bosses or apex predators, like 2 or 3 other higher level enemies that are like the same type of animal would show
Mhm.
up. Like I'm fighting the big alligator and like 2 level 8s show up too while I'm trying to fight this level 20.
Yes,
It's like,
I am.
what the hell?
I'm really glad you brought that up because I'll go into further detail with this a little bit later, but I'm going to go ahead and respond to what you're saying. A lot of the combat in the game is Dark Souls inspired, where you have to read enemy patterns and dodge and then get your attacks in when you can.
Mm-hmm.
However, the difficulty doesn't stem from learning these attack patterns because there's not a lot of attack patterns with these apex predators or these hostile enemies.
Mm-hmm.
The artificial difficulty comes from you're put into a situation that you have to complete, and they have one strong enemy and like 5 or 6 smaller enemies that can just kind of just chip away at your health.
Yeah.
And it is more frustrating than anything because even Assassin's Creed gets this right. And I like the Assassin's Creed games, but I'm mostly critical about them with a lot of things. Like Assassin's Creed, for the most part, suffers from bloat as well.
Yeah.
At least the more recent ones. But even then they get this shit right. Where if you have a legendary animal that you have to hunt down and defeat, it is in its own designated arena.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, every once in a while, depending on the animal that you fight, there'll be a point in the boss fight where he'll hop away and then you have to kill a couple of lower level enemies.
Yeah.
But those are separated. The Maneater, however, pits you against a really strong enemy and these weaker enemies, and it just makes it frustrating. Incredibly frustrating, and almost made me not want to do the missions because or at least try to dodge them as best I can just to complete the mission.
Did you find out what happens if you're in one of those fights and you go slightly out of the range?
Yes.
It completely starts over the boss fight.
That
He
is
gets full health.
complete fucking bullshit.
I hated that. Like I was getting chased by I was fighting the alligator fight and I was getting
Mhm.
chased by 2 other ones and there was no health anywhere around, like a catfish or something to eat. So I swam a little bit further and I turn around after I ate him and the main apex predator, he's just gone. And I'm like, oh shit. And I come back and it starts the cutscene where it, introduces and I'm like, are you fucking he was almost dead too. He had like a sliver.
Oh man, something similar like that kind of happened to me, although I could argue it was even worse. He had a sliver of health for me, and he got stuck in the environment. He faced through a wall, and there was no way I could finish him off.
Oh gosh.
Which this game has a lot of technical issues, which again I'll go
Yeah.
further into. And the gameplay loop of this game, I swear to God, if I had to do one more mission where it's eat 10x, I was gonna go fucking crazy.
Yes. I was really hoping that. Well, I guess not hoping, but I was anticipating you were going to say the same thing because I felt that way. Where it's like
Why are these main missions?
all the main missions basically boil down to either go eat this many humans, or eat this many kind of fish, or fight an apex predator. Those are like the 3 mission types that you get.
You need to eat like 10 whatever fish 3 times to draw out an apex predator, which then is, as we mentioned, a chore to fight as well, because you got to fight him and 4 other enemies that just...
Even the eating 10 fish ones are annoying because you go
they're
in
boring.
there. Well, at least from my experience, every time I would go into like an area, like, oh, eat 10 catfish, go into the area, there's like 4 freaking mako sharks or 4 alligators or, any of the predators. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
guys,
I gotta fight more of these?
As I said, dumping 4 enemies in an arena automatically does not make your game difficult.
It just makes it annoying.
It does. And here's the thing as well. You're playing as a mutated shark, and most of the missions you give me are just eat fish?
Yeah.
Like, let out your creative tiger, Let me sink a massive cruise ship or eat radiation or shoot radiation beams. Like, go crazy.
I think they do in the DLC.
Yeah,
I think it goes extra crazy there.
I did look it up. You do fight radioactive monsters in the DLC, but like the fact that you literally play as the mutated shark, but they do so little with it in the base game is just, it's disappointing. It's almost as if like they don't want to go. They wanted to keep it somewhat realistic, but as soon as you throw in a mutated shark that does barrel rolls outside of the water, just throw realism out the window.
Yeah, 100%.
Like for real. Movement of the shark as well feels really slow as well. I don't like how you had to hold down L2 the entire time to move at a reasonable speed.
My finger was cramping after
Mine
an
too.
hour or 2 of playing that at a time.
And like, it doesn't even seem to get that much faster as you level up.
No, I don't know. And it's really hard, too, with the movement, to keep track of what you're fighting sometimes.
Exactly. I have this in the notes as well. There's no hard lock when you lock onto enemies. There's no hard lock.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. When you're playing in the water, you're on an X, Y, and Z axis.
Yes. And
it's so easy to lose sight of the enemy through like all like the underwater foliage and the trash that's in the water. And also doesn't help that the enemy silhouettes are not distinct enough
unless you keep spamming the sonar.
Exactly.
That's what I had
And
to do.
so it's super easy to lose sight of the enemy. Either you design the enemy encounters better or add difficulty settings.
Yes.
And okay, and this is where I'm going to go on a tangent here. I mentioned earlier that the creators were inspired by Dark Souls with the combat. It's more like Dark Souls light, really. And here's the thing. These are the problems that I have with it. The telegraphing of the enemies, they feel inconsistent. Sometimes a yellow circle appears, other times it doesn't. And I'm still having issues trying to understand what that means, because I know if I dodge, every once in a while I can get a couple bites in and rip off a limb, but other times it doesn't work. And so the game did not really clearly teach you this enough of like what to do.
Yeah.
And as I said, there's no hard lock, and the developers responded to this by saying they didn't want the game to be too easy. Well, let me tell you something. Every single Soulsborne game has fucking hard lock.
Yeah. And I think one of the things with the combat that kind of like, I don't know, got a little on my nerves at a certain point is, I know you're a shark, right? I get it. The things that a shark can do are pretty limited. But basically the 2 moves you have are bite and tail whip.
Exactly.
And after you have enough battles with different types of fish, it gets really repetitive. It's like, try to swing in from the side, hit him, swim off, hit him, swim off. I found like the most effective way to down the apex predators in combat was to get as many electrical abilities as you can, bite them once, stun them, and then come in and just literally just spam the bite move on them.
Yeah.
Because that's the best way to do it. And I want to like kind of tie it back to the conversation we had about the difficulty levels, or the character levels, I guess I should say. So let's say you're fighting a level 20 enemy, and you come in and you're a level 11, I think was when I fought the first level 20. And you go in for bites and you stun him and then spam the attack. You can pretty much kill him pretty quick, right?
Mhm.
Like, you can take him down really fast. So it kind of like almost nullifies the importance of that level, right? Like, what does a level 20 even mean in that game?
The only thing that level 20 could actually mean is that that they would probably just do more damage to you.
I guess.
And like and we talked about this over text. Fighting higher level enemies with a Dark Souls style combat, that does not really bother me, because by design you're able to do that in Dark Souls. Like your strength is not tied to your level in Dark Souls. Like the strength of your it kind of, I take that back. It kind of is tied, like your strength, dexterity. It can scale to certain weapons, but weapons themselves have their own isolated upgrade path that can do more damage. And there are so many soul level 1 runs that people can do in the Soulsborne games, but just by knowing enemy attack patterns, knowing what weapon paths to take, and you can complete the game doing that. And you can arguably do that somewhat in this game too, because the abilities that you get and how you upgrade the abilities are not necessarily tied to your level. That is something I like in this game.
Yeah. And you can switch back and forth too. You're not bound to a path.
Yes, which I enjoy. Another thing I want to bring up about the battling and why it doesn't necessarily work in this with the Dark Souls inspired combat is that there's really no healing. You have to consume fish to refill your health, but you have to run from an encounter to refill your health. And and which is a problem that you've had several times.
Yeah.
Kind of switching gears here. Another thing that kind of bothered me too is I wish the world felt more alive.
Yeah.
It is a pretty mundane world. People don't react to other predators. There could be an alligator or omega shark swimming 10 feet away from them, and they don't react.
And I've noticed that the other predators don't seem to fuck with each other. They only want you. It's like aggro on you all the time.
I get it's not a AAA studio. I get this was not, like, actually I take that back. This was published by Deep Silver, who created
They're like a AA, right?
Yeah. But to my knowledge, there are several open world games that are created by AA studios that kind of make the world more alive.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what the deal is. Another issue is that the world navigation is annoying. There are no landmarks to tell you where you are. You basically just have to open up the map every once in a while to see if you're even going in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's the navigation is awful.
Especially in the initial level where it's really murky.
Yes.
It gets a little better when you get to the clearer waters and the more open ocean kind of areas. But that first swamp area, it was a nightmare.
that first swamp area was just such a pain in the ass.
I hated it.
I hated it so much. And there's another system in this game, which is infamy. So, to add to the padding of this game, infamy is a bar that is filled over time. You basically have two things of the system. You have your infamy, and then you have your wanted level, basically. Infamy that you gain is permanent. Wanted level is temporary. And both are gained by killing and eating humans, sinking boats. I guess also completing some story missions as well.
Yeah, I think when you complete the story missions, you're also getting that temporary. Where it builds up your bar and then it flips over to the next level.
And once you hit a certain milestone in infamy, a bounty hunter will be sent out after you. and then you have to kill him or her in order to gain a new ability.
And the bounty hunters are easy to kill.
They are exceptionally easy. They're almost a joke.
That's what makes it weird. They kind of, stack them up as these pseudo bosses, but in reality, like the apex predators are much harder to fight
absolutely.
than any of them.
And so it's not good, in my opinion, because as we said, a big problem of this game is the padding. And if you want to gain more abilities, you have to spend time upping your infamy to spawn these bounty hunters, killing them, and then gaining an ability, and then eating fish, completing missions, finding caches in order to have upgrade materials to upgrade these abilities so they could become viable. The infamy system can be incredibly frustrating. More specifically, the wanted level.
Yeah.
There's no ramp up with hunter hostility. Right out of the gate, lots are sent after you, and they could still shoot you even though you're in deep, murky water.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes absolutely no sense. And there's also a bark that certain hunters say is, I wish I had polarized glasses. Well, obviously you do, because you can actually shoot me when I'm 30 feet deep.
Anybody who lives near any body of water knows that there are very, very few bodies of water that you can see more than like a foot down in.
Exactly.
Right? And especially when I'm in the swamp. Are you kidding me? They
Exactly.
couldn't see like 2 inches under the water in that water.
You said, why couldn't like level 1 hostility be like rednecks not knowing what they're doing?
Yeah.
And then level 2 more experienced fishermen, and then when level 3 rolls around, that's when you get people that can see you like deeper in the water.
Like the mini boss should have been, right?
Exactly.
The mini boss should have been hard, but honestly, every single one of them, I've jumped out of the water, grabbed them immediately, and killed them.
And even then, like that's when like the movement and controls feel the most clunky, because you have to spam R2 to chomp to eat them while evading, and it just the controller basically becomes mush at that point, because you're required to do too many things with the triggers, and it just does not feel good to play when you're in that encounter.
And also, those humans, the fishermen and the hunters and stuff, they don't count towards your human kills. So if you're doing a mission and they show up, killing them doesn't count towards your, which is stupid, because then I gotta like take some time while I'm in the middle of a fight to go over and eat some more humans off the shore, which can be really fucking hard to get to when they go really far inshore, and I gotta flop myself across the shoreline to grab them.
That is one thing I forgot to mention. That is also hilarious.
It's hilarious, and like, why would they keep running near the water if there's a shark that can hop on the land and get them?
It's just, like, I don't know, but oh god, now I lost my train of thought. It's just a.
And you're like dying. You're like, oh, kill me.
Just fucking put me out of my misery. But overall, like, this game, I really wish I would have liked this game a lot more.
I had really high hopes.
Me too.
I think for me, where this game excels, because I know we've been rather critical of it the entire time, and I think it's good to kind of put it into a perspective. I think if you can get this game for a reasonable price, maybe $20 or less, play it, but play it in like small bursts. Maybe like an hour or 2 at a time, then put it down, and then come back to it another day, and just put a little bit at a time. Because I think if you try to like do what we did, and we tried to play like a lot of it in like a week span, I just kind of got burnt out, and it really made the lack of mechanics, the lack of variety in missions, the lack of combat variation, it made it very apparent. But if you play it in small chunks, kind of turn your brain off and enjoy the mindless chomping, it can have its fun moments.
Yes. And I'm really glad that it was free on PlayStation at one point, because I don't know how much this game was. I think it was like $30.
40. when it
Oh my
released.
god, $40.
It released at 40. I'm pretty sure.
I probably wouldn't have bought this game at $40.
I know I got it used on like a buy two get one deal at GameStop. So I think I paid like less than 20 for it.
Yeah. The game sold well though.
Yeah.
Which justified its DLC, which the DLC looks fun because as we stated earlier, it looks like it finally leans into like that radioactive shark.
I've heard the DLC is better than the main game.
Oh my god, now I want to play the DLC.
I put it on my wish list, and when it goes on sale, I'm going to buy it and then reinstall the game and play it, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling as well. And oh man, like this just reminded me. I don't know if I mentioned this because it's getting late, but the tech issues of this game was so bad. Like,
Yeah.
did you have a lot of issues with this game, like technical wise?
There would be times where the screen would lock up for 1 or
That
2
was
seconds, you know?
All the time for me. I don't think this was really properly optimized for the consoles
Yeah.
because
don't
I think
know.
this was originally a PC game.
I don't even know if it matters. Honestly, I think just the game just has a level of jank to it. I'd be curious to see how it runs on Switch. I really, if we
I
played
have
on
my
PS5
doubts.
and we had these issues, I'm really worried.
I have my doubts about it. So, overall, I would probably give this game a 6 out of 10. Maybe like there are some moments as that make me really glad I'm playing this game. It's like, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing this, but there are just too many moments where I'm like, oh, I have to do this again.
Yeah, I think I would be probably around the 6.5 range. I was initially thinking 7, but as we talked through it more and more, there became less that I could easily forgive.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm gonna make this really clear. None of us beat this game. We ran out of time. We usually try to beat games within a week, but
I think this game is a lot. We chose it as a short game, and most estimates we saw put it under the 10-hour mark to beat.
mm-hmm.
I think maybe if you just, I don't even know how you could do it. I mean, you could speed run it, I guess, but I don't think you could beat it in less than 10.
No.
There's too much grinding.
Way too much grinding. Way too much eat 10 fish. Kill this apex predator.
You can't
So-
even just do the story missions. Like, you have to, for some of the ways to move on to the next chapter, you have to get a certain level of side mission completion in each area.
Yeah, it's
So you have to grind.
it basically it's almost like a pseudo free to play game. Just based on how the leveling system works and the chores that you have to do in order to progress. Like it's like, okay, in order to open this area, you need to be this level. To gain this level, you have to do this. But to do this, you have to do that. But to do that, you have to do this thing.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a lazy design. It is a lazy way to get people to play your game. It like the story and the mechanics themselves, that even the concept of playing it as a mutated shark should be enough
Mm-hmm.
to get you to play this game. And I like this setup of man versus monster, you know, where you play as the monster. Like there's a lot of Carrion vibes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone should be an interesting concept, but it's just dragged down by chores.
And I think it would be a little bit more forgivable if they just completely leaned into the like absurdity, made you like mostly unstoppable and until you fought like specific bosses. Like that would be good. But there's a lot of times where like I'm just like in the early levels especially,
You feel so weak.
you feel very weak. Like especially that very first swamp, you come in there as a baby shark and there's like a ton of gators. Just so many. And you're like,
Mhm.
oh my God.
And God help you if they grab you and start rolling,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you have to quickly flick the thumbstick back and forth, which is probably not do my controller any favors, by the way.
Yeah.
And if you do, my problem with that is when I did it too fast, and I would accidentally touch the pad. It would bring up my map. I'm like, fuck.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I did that so many times. Or I would hit the PlayStation button. I hit the PlayStation button, and it would take me to the main screen. I'm like, shit.
It's like, and I swear to God, man, I
do want to finish it.
I want to finish it too. I want to see how it resolves. Maybe I'll play a little bit of it this weekend. Because I want to see how this game ends.
Maybe if we both beat it, we can come back and like prior to doing one of our normal episodes, in the beginning we can just kind of give a little quick synopses of our final thoughts. But I've played about 60 to 70% of it, and I wasn't impressed with what I played so far.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of good in this game, and there's a lot of potential of this game to be a super memorable, awesome game.
Mm-hmm.
However, at the end, I would say if I had to compare Jaws Unleashed to this, I would say the moment-to-moment gameplay was better with Jaws Unleashed.
I think if they wanted to make a sequel to this at some point, go balls to the wall. Make your character
absolutely.
Start out as like a great white or something, put you out near the open ocean, increase the variety of different animals to encounter, and make the missions like insane. Like, I want the final mission is you're like a fucking megalodon and you're taking down like yachts.
Yes.
Like, that would be fun.
Jumping out of the water and pulling fighter jets out of the air as they try.
Just go insane with it.
Fucking balls to the wall.
Yes.
No holds bar. Who gives a shit about realism?
Yeah.
Like go up against like a super croc, have these massive underwater kaiju battles, and just
we gave up realism when the shark was flopping around on the shore eating people. Like that was long ago.
But next week, we're not quite sure what games that we're gonna do next week, because I have a couple issues financially coming up, as I stated in the beginning, with taxes. So Connor and I need to have a discussion of what we're gonna do next. So next week is gonna be a surprise.
Plus we're about 1 week out from starting spooky season.
Yes.
Which we pick a bunch of spooky games to play.
Exactly, which I'm super excited to play for. I love the spooky season, and I know you do too, based on how your downstairs looks.
Oh yeah.
And so. I already have ghosts on my porch, and have little like evil scientist vials that are in my house, and pumpkins, and
I'm ready.
My wife and I already listened to our Halloween playlist, so
I'm so ready.
I'm so ready for the spooky season.
I just wish it wasn't so hot. You know?
Yeah.
It kind of dampens the mood when it's like 90 degrees.
Yeah, climate change is real, guys. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Like and subscribe if you like the show, or if you don't like the show, tell your friends. Maybe they'll like it. We also have merch, which will be in the description.
Yes, and so we have a variety of stuff. I just kind of wanted to briefly mention it so that, if anybody was interested. We have merch for the podcast here. We also have merch for our other podcast that I do with a couple other co-hosts called Spooky Cast. It's Halloween merch. That's only going to be available till the end of October. And we have some tie-dye merch.
I am very partial to that pink and white pastel color tie-dye hoodie.
Mine arrives tomorrow, and I will be posting pictures on our Twitters so that we can share it with people. And
yeah, I might have to go for that one. And our hats that we have too, our snapbacks, those hats, at least from what you told me, those aren't just printed on; those are embroidered.
Yes, all of our hats have embroidery, be it the beanies or the snapbacks, trucker hats, any of them.
High quality shit.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. So
and to be clear, these are mostly just for people to enjoy. We aren't making hardly anything off of these. I wanted to price them as low as possible so that anybody who wants them can, have some of the merch, rep the stuff, and you don't feel like you're getting ripped off.
We're aware that people are in different chapters of their life and may not have a lot of money to their name.
Yeah.
Like me.
And I always hate it when I have a creator out there that I really, really like, and I go and look at their most basic shirts, and they're like $40.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to feel that way. The only thing that I think comes at a premium cost, and it's because they're hand dyed, is the tie-dye shirts.
Yeah.
Those are our only expensive items.
But I can't remember how much our t-shirts are specifically. I think they're only like $15.
They're
maybe?
pretty cheap. They're around the $20 mark, I believe.
So and you can get a $20 shirt at Kohl's.
Yeah, you can go to pretty much any store, and the shirts are going to start at $20.
Yeah, so. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.